So, like I was saying, that if we can have a sustained economic model which addresses the needs and the demands and the basic necessities of the poor, which makes those on the borderline of poverty or below poverty line self sufficient, then obviously we can curb insurgency, we can curb internal violence, there we can curb crime, right? And as a result of which, the state can pump in more money towards social welfare instead of pumping money in its forces, in its army, or in its armed forces or other kind of paramilitary forces. So that is how economics has a deep and lasting relation with peace, right? And this microcredit system, which takes the form of Grameen Bank, which is Muhammad Yunus's idea, does exactly that. It, in fact, champions the cause of democracy, and it believes that being financially stable is a basic human right, right? So through the microcredit system, which it tries to make available to very large population groups, it champions democracy and human rights both. Right. So, in fact, before we look at the model per se, let us understand how, where Yunus is coming from and who is he inspired by. So, Yunus's inspiration is, in fact, the great economist Nicolas Georgescu-Roegen, who is the creator of evolutionary economics or even ecological economics. He is the creator of that model, and he comes from a school, or he comes from an ideological point of view which believes that there is no point in just presenting very elite and sophisticated and intellectually challenging models, economic models to people, if they are not applicable, if eventually they do not help the poorest sections of society. So he strongly believes in the need for economics to have a human side, right? And in fact, Professor Yunus, if we look at his career graph, he was teaching in a university in the United States, and he relocates to Bangladesh, right? And once he relocated to Bangladesh in 1972 as an academician, he started teaching in Chittagong University. And there was a massive famine in the year 1974, which had a very bad impact on Bangladesh, which hit Bangladesh severely. And this was kind of an eye opener to Professor Yunus, who kind of saw the disconnect or the disjuncture between academic economics and the reality, the actual reality of starving people, of people just dying of hunger on the roadside, right? And that is when he decided that enough of elite economic models, I have to do something at the grassroots level, at the ground level, so that it has a direct advantage, or it can directly benefit the most marginalized, the most disadvantaged of communities, right? So that is when he infers that these elite academic economic models, uh, which are probably built and conceptualized by academicians who do not know the ground reality, are actually not a viable solution for the removal of poverty. And that is when he started coming up, he started building on the idea of the microcredit system. But that also is a very interesting story, right? Which centers around a single woman, a Bangladeshi woman who wants to start her own business, and she doesn't have enough money to do it, right? And Muhammad Yunus actually helps her. He gives her a loan, and that is where the whole that is in fact the beginning of the saga of the microcredit system, which becomes such a great success.